You know, from time to time, I have people that call me up and want to get on the air and want to get in the radio business and audition for a radio job. So, you know, every once in a while I do that. And this morning, I have this guy who called up and he says, I think I can do a good radio show. And I said, okay, well, I'll try to put him on the air. Mr. X, do you really think you can do a good radio job?
Well, good morning. I tell you, I love radio. And I love, as you just said, I love linking things like you said, the weather outside, what people are doing, and having fun. So I'll try. I'm happy to be on with you, Brad. Thanks.
My mystery guest is none other than Ed Martin, who has been in the political world for a while, and most recently just won the Republican primary to be Attorney General candidate for the November election. Did I get that correct?
Yes, exactly right. I will say, by the way, talking about radio, you know, one of the reasons running for office, and I've never been in elected office. I did run one other time for Congress in 10 versus Carnahan, but if you're running for office, it's a little bit like, and I'm being serious, when you're on radio, there's nowhere to hide, right? You got to answer the question, you got to communicate, you can't sort of take a time off. And when you're running as a candidate, I was in Cape Girardeau last night, you're standing up in front of 100 people, they're asking you a question, there's nowhere to run, and it's sort of, it's a high wire act, as you know, but it's a lot of fun, too, and it's very satisfying as you get better at it, and I really enjoy it. So thank you. Yeah, we won the primary last week for Attorney General, so I'm the Republican candidate.
Well, I would never ask you any questions like, well, you know, maybe I would. Boxers or briefs?
Well, boxer briefs, actually. It's kind of whatever that one is over the years where they crossed it over. You know, it's not pure boxers and it's not pure briefs. So
I hear you.
I don't know.
Now, Attorney General, you are an attorney, and you have Jefferson City experience. As I understand, you used to be in the governor's office.
I was. I worked for Governor Blunt. Two times I've worked in government, and one was very, very sort of interesting, kind of part-time or not volunteer, but appointed. That was chairman of the Board of Elections in the city of St. Louis, which was very interesting. Not really paid. You got a stipend. And then I worked for Governor Blunt as chief of staff. And both of those were interesting because I had been a relative outsider to working in government, and you kind of get a real glimpse of how things work. And that's one of the reasons why I think I might be good, and I would be good to be Attorney General.
Well, and you do have the legal background, and why would you want to be Attorney General? I mean, you know, some people think of that job and they go, oh, I don't know about that one. Our current Governor Nixon, for a minute there, I forgot what state I was in. Our current Governor Nixon was the Attorney General, what, for 3 terms, I guess, was it?
Oh, 4 terms.
4 terms, wow.
Yeah, I can tell you I don't want to be Attorney General for 4 terms. I think that's too long. I'm a term limit guy. I think 8 years in any one job as an elected official. But I'd say this, Attorney General, a lot of people don't realize what it is, what the job is. And one of the best examples of the job is Jack Danforth. Senator Danforth was Attorney General in 1969 for, I think, 5 or 6 years. And when you ask somebody like him, what's the job, he says, you're the chief, you're running the law firm for the state. And he says it's so important that you have a good lawyer, an honest broker there, not someone who's looking past the job to the next job, because we want our system to work, that we can rely on it. And I think that's, as for someone who's practiced law, I look at it and say that even though we sometimes get frustrated with lawyers, the system in America that gives us opportunity is based on the fact that, you know, we can rely on the law to be what it says it is and not just a sort of game of connections. And I think people are getting more and more worried about how things are looking.
Ed, you know what, and I know it's interesting. First off, I have to tell you this from a radio guy's perspective. You don't sound like a politician.
Well, that's good, I think.
You know, you have more of a conversational style. Sometimes I get the politicians on here, and, you know, they start in the talking points, and it's like, okay, I might as well just turn the mic off on my end because they're just saying what they want to say, and then they're done. The other thing is, I sort of saw something interesting with you. You're touring the state, I don't know if you still have this or not, with an ambulance. Explain that.
I am. Well, thank you. If this goes well, is it possible? Am I getting hired? This would be great. My wife will be thrilled. You know what we did? When you're running for office, especially as a challenger, you got to try to get attention. I mean, people think, you know, maybe I'm not supposed to be this candidate, but you got to try to get attention. You got to try to capture what people are thinking about. And so I had a friend who had an old ambulance. I mean, about a 10-year-old ambulance. And so we picked it up and we wrapped it. It says Ed Martin for Attorney General and Stop Obamacare. And we go around the state and we're trying to foster a conversation and get votes and say, look, when I'm Attorney General, one of the biggest concerns I have is that we've gone too far with Obamacare and with other sort of federal, you know, overreaches. And so that starts a conversation. And I'll tell you a secret, Brad, nobody knows. It's a great conversation starter. It's really cool, great pictures. It also is a really good delivery truck for yard signs, 4x8 signs.
Well, and here's my next question. Do you use the lights and sirens when you're late for an appointment?
Yeah, well, that's true. We disable the lights and sirens because we don't want to get in trouble. I actually got advice on that. Someone said, please disable them, you're going to get in trouble, so we did. But no, we don't. Although I will say, when you drive in an ambulance and you're driving down the road, people get out of your way no matter what, so it's kind of, it does help with traffic.
Ed, I appreciate the time you in this morning. You're a fun guy to talk to, even though if you are a politician. If someone would want to get in touch with you, find out more about your campaign, how would they do that?
Yeah, our website is Ed Martin for Missouri, FOR, edmartinformissouri.com, and of course we're on Twitter and Facebook. It's Ed Martin for Mo on Twitter and Facebook. You can find us, and we have headquarters now over in Fenton in the St. Louis area. So we'd love to get people to learn more and be involved in politics and hopefully earn their vote. Ed, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for being on with me this morning. And you got the job Saturday from midnight to 5. I accept. When I unionize, do I get it? What's my pay? Never mind. We'll talk later. No, you have to pay me. That's the way it works here. Probably so. I bet I would. All right. Take care, Brad. 7:30. Did you know?